Yo, welcome guys and girls to another Division video. Now, I just want to start off again by saying I hope everyone's doing good, and I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but near me it's quite cold. Not as cold as most places, but as you can see I've still got the flu, so I'd appreciate it if you could just bear with me through this intro, as it's not going to be cut and it's not going to be pretty. I'm just going to keep it as real as I can, just to try and, you know, move on to the video as fast as I can. So yeah, this video today is, you could say, part 2 of my original resistance farming video, which that video done a lot better than what I thought. You know, I'm a small channel and the reception that video got was overwhelming, and there's a few comments that I want to pick up on. Now, I reply to every single comment. If you comment, I'll reply. Every single comment I'll go through and I'll read every comment. And the ones I got some nice comments. I got comments like great video and it helped me out. It helped some people out, which is what I really appreciate. But there were certain comments, genuine comments also, where people liked the video and thought it was broken down well. But they said they want to farm resistance, but they just don't have the classified gear to do it. I seen these comments coming on Reddit, I seen them coming on YouTube, and every one of them I promised, this was like last week, I promised that I would make a video to help newer players. Now, don't get me wrong, I could have just smashed out a couple of videos this week, you know, on vendor reset or, you know, the surprise global event for the weekend, and it would have got me a couple of views. But all week I've just been running resistance, testing it, trying to get the best guide I can for new players. And it was 6P Striker that I was running. So what I decided to do was, that's why we're here. I mean, look at this. This is, you know, the Hudson camp, and this is where it all starts off. You know, you come into the end game, you start farming for, you know, your next level of gear. I mean, look at that memorial. I didn't even know that was in the game. That is fantastic. I guess even when you played the game for 2 years, you see something new all the time on it. But yeah, anyway, enough of that. Back to what I was saying. Now, I've seen a lot of people do different runs on resistance. I've seen a few runs after I've done my video on resistance, and you know, everyone does it differently. Well, all I care about is how I do it on this channel for you guys. That's all I care about. And I could have done the odd exotic, or I could have done an exotic build, because exotics aren't as good as classifieds. You know, I could have done normal green gear sets. I could have done 4-piece striker with savage gloves and specialized backpack. That would have been pretty impressive, as people were saying it was impossible to farm resistance with that type of gear. But no, I thought I'd take it to another level, and that's why it took me quite a few days of testing to see what works and what doesn't. I decided to do a full gold build, as if I've, you know, just started farming after the end game, and let's just move on to the build. this is it. This is the gold build I'll be using, and as you can see, it's not optimized. You know, it's not the prettiest build, but some of it I've literally scoured the vendors. Some pieces I've literally just bought and tried to make the most of what I've got, because I don't really run this build anymore. Being right at the end game with all the classified sets, you know, I don't really run this build very much, but I did enjoy it. I enjoyed making the video, and it opened my eyes on a lot of things that maybe sometimes I dismiss and don't use anymore, but we will get to that. So just look at these accomplished knee pads. I mean, wow, how many pairs of them have I had in 2 years of gameplay? Unreal. So the guns that I'm using is lightweight M4 and the AUG. Now, I tried to keep it as basic as I could. I know that there's a lightweight M4 blueprint. It's floating around. It's been up a few times. So I'm hoping that that'll give you an easier chance of getting, you know, rolling a lightweight M4 with the talents that I'm using. It doesn't have to necessarily be the talents I'm using, but these are the ones that I'm trying it with, just to show you as an example that even a gold build is viable in Resistance if you know what you're doing. So quickly I'll run through the gear. Deadly responsive talented on both guns, on the AUG and on the lightweight M4. The weapon attachments, crit chance on the scope, crit chance on the mag, crit damage on the underbarrel and crit damage on the muzzle. The AUG is crit damage on the scope, crit damage on the mag, crit damage on the grip or the underbarrel, and I actually have crit chance on the suppressor. Now for some reason, some strange reason, I just prefer the AUG with the suppressor on. I don't know what it is, it just feels better. Maybe that's just my personal opinion. Well, let's move over to the gear. So with the gear, as you can see, me firearms is just under 5k. My toughness, you know, it's not great. It's not great for what most people with classifieds run, but I do have decent skill power, or enough skill power with the perks that are used to survive. You know, the toughness isn't an issue when I'm running Resistance. So the chest I'm using is Vigorous on electronics. It's not a bad chest, this, to be fair. The only disappointment is the health roll is not max. So as you can see, it's not a fully optimized piece. It's only 279, but it's got skill haste, ammo capacity, and electronics. Now the mods I'm using throughout the whole build, I'll be running one stamina mod, but the whole build, the rest of the build will be electronics, skill haste. So one stamina mod and the rest electronic skill haste mods, but I will show you as I go through. Now the backpacks are specialized, which obviously gives you a little bit more skill power. That's on electronics, health and burn resistance. Now ammo capacity is probably one of the better things to have, but I do like the burn resistance for, you know, the cleaner enemies. So it does work well for what I need it to do in Resistance. Now refresh mask. I've played with this. I've tried a few masks. I've tried Rehabilitated. I've tried Tenacious, but I don't really pop many med kits. I don't think I did anyway. Don't hold me to that, but I don't think I popped many med kits. So I just use this literally just to improve my healing, because I will be using a box. But it's also fantastic for when using an overdose. You know, it always gives you that extra healing. So this is on firearms with skill power. Now the Savage gloves I had this pair in my stash. These are on firearms, not the best firearms, but I suppose it'll have to do. I would prefer to take off the crit damage, because the crit damage is terrible on them. It's only 14%, and I would prefer to have skill haste to try and just up that skill haste number. But yeah, these are the ones I'm running with: critical hit chance, assault rifle damage, and critical hit damage rolled onto firearms, as I said. Now the elusive accomplished knee pads, which I can't imagine most people run these. You know, I think I've used them once or twice when I've been farming in the past, a long time ago. But yeah, as I say, I don't want to cut any corners. You know, I don't want to randomly use anything else. I just want this to be a solid gold build, just to showcase it. So these are on electronics with, again, not a very good health roll, but it will do. And the holster, again, I tried a few holsters. I tried Nimble, but Nimble, you know, it hit a big nerf compared to what it used to be. Nimble holster used to be one of the best holsters in the game. So I decided to try the Sturdy holster. It's pretty good. You know, I do stay in cover certain parts of the farm, so it does come in quite nicely. And also I have skill haste on the holster. So I'll just go through and just show you. I did say I have one stamina mod on skill haste, and then the rest, as you can see throughout my build, are electronics skill haste. Now, as you can see there, the performance mods I'm using are going to be turret damage, because I am going to use a flame turret. So I'll just quickly go through the character sheets. M4 is 18.5% crit chance, 96% crit damage, 80% headshot damage, and the AUG is 34.5% crit chance, 90% crit damage, 62% headshot damage. I mean, these numbers aren't nothing to go wild about. They're not very good, but you know, I try and make the most of what I've got. And I'll just show you, I also have 30% skill haste. Now, like I say, I could increase that slightly if I had it on my gloves, which would be nice, but 30% will do for what we need. So I'll go into the abilities and the talents. Now, the skills I'm going to be using is obviously, as I said earlier, the flame turret, and I'm going to use the ammo cache. Now, I've tried every skill on that board. The past few days I've tried every skill, just for my own personal interest as well. I want to see what works, what doesn't. A few of them were pretty decent, but like the likes of Seekers, as I want to farm the credits, you know, they could accidentally kill the boss when I don't want to. So just for the crowd control, I use the flame turret, and the ammo cache is brilliant. You know, I don't really need any ammo, and I'll show you why these two are so good. Now, if I go to my talents, I run on the move, you know, it gives me the survivability. Precision gives me the pulse. Now, this one is the reason why those skills are so good. This is a talent that is so underrated, you know. Tech support. Kill a hostile while any skill is deployed to extend any active skills by 10%. Now, that is like a blessing. I think you will notice, and I will point it out within the video, even the first 4 waves with this build, I don't think I replace the ammo cache once, because I'm killing that many enemies. It just keeps recharging it, and it just stays up constantly stays up. Now that is a skill that, you know, not many people might have used. They might have just dismissed it. I have in the past. I've not really touched up on it, but it is a fantastic skill for a fantastic talent, sorry, for this build in Resistance. And finally, critical save. I mean, critical save is amazing. You know, I run it on most builds, but you could also run strike back. You know, low health, you reduce active skill cooldowns by 20%. That is nice. But I just went for the more survivability. So yeah, that is the build that I'll be running. You know, I do hope you appreciate that I went off, I took the criticism, or, you know, I took the comments into account, and I did say I'm going to do an all gold build, no cutting corners. What I do in the video is I get to wave 8, the laptop round, but you don't really focus on the laptop. You are gonna kill a few enemies at the start of wave 8. That'll entitle you to get 2 box open, and 2 chances are classified. But as I say, you know, the box isn't guaranteed classified. I mean, I think it's nearly a 60% chance to award you with a classified, which is insane. You know, that's the highest in the game. It's got to be the highest drop in the game. 60% is massive, and to be honest, there's never a time when I've opened it and I've not at least got 1 out of the 2 a classified or an exotic. And also at the end of the video, when I do, because all I do is I open that box twice, I wipe, and then I do it again, and that's how I farm it with this build. But I will show you, or we will see, if this build can go further than that, and it can sustain the contaminated wave. Does this build keep you alive, or, you know, do you struggle to get past, you know, the contaminated waves and so on? So yeah, that was a long intro, and there was no cuts, and I was winging it, but I really just wanted to try and get as much information as I could out to you guys and you newer players who are really struggling to get classifieds. If I did miss anything out, which I'm probably sure I did, you know, just leave a comment and let me know, and I'll be sure to get back to you. But we'll move on to the actual video now.
You are now leaving the
So you want to start off by heading over to Pier 93, and then from there we'll move inside into the first room.
Time to show 'em what you've got.
Now it's entirely up to you where you put your box and your turret, but I like to keep mine close together in front of me,
in 20 seconds.
where I'm fighting. That basically gives a bit of crowd control, and
Next
also
wave in 10
you want to
seconds.
be fighting within the box so you don't use any ammo. Now the first few waves,
Hostiles now
you know,
inbound.
take your time, just steadily go through them. The actual credit farming will not start until wave 4. So at some stages in the video I will need to, you know, speed parts up, otherwise the video is going to be way too long, because essentially it's a build video and a farming guide within one.
You got 1 hostile left.
So let's push on. and as you can see, I'm just moving through wave 1, and we'll come back to when I'm at wave 4.
Next wave in 20 seconds. Next wave of hostiles in 10 seconds. Hostile wave imminent.
Online.
20 seconds until next wave. Hostile inbound in 10 seconds. Enemy last inbound.
So we're coming to the end of wave 3,
You're ready to start scanning the
and this next wave is going to be
20 seconds
the
until
first
next wave.
important credit farming wave. Now basically you need to try and push yourself as much as you can,
Wave in 10
because
seconds.
the more NPCs you kill, the more or quicker they'll respawn in, which in essence will give you more
Scan the
credits
target location.
for the exotic and classified box. Now, just a little tip here, if you kind of take note and look through the shutter door, the doors where you'll be going through to my left, you'll be able to gauge how far the laptop is away. Now if the laptop's around 60 meters away, that's the best position you can get. You could leave this room at about 15-20 seconds if it's only 60 meters away, but if it's around the 100 meters plus mark, I would recommend leaving this room around 50 seconds left. But like I said in the previous farming guide, a lot of people don't understand about the laptop. You can actually jump onto the laptop with, 1 second remaining, and you won't fail the mission. As long as you stay on that laptop, you'll be fine. So, that's I've mentioned this before in a previous video, so you need to take that into account and really push it and farm as many NPCs as you can. Just another quick thing to mention. I did say I would give it a mention. If you look at me ammo cache and me turret, I was saying how good the tech support was.
Complete the critical objective.
You can clearly see it, just every kill constantly keeps the ammo cache up and the turret, so there's never any need to replace it, and that is one of the most vital abilities within this resistance run, the tech support.
There are 30 seconds remaining for you to complete the critical objective.
So as you can see, coming to the end of wave 4, I only have about 15 seconds remaining to get the laptop, but that won't matter as long as I don't move away from it. Like I say, you can jump on it with only a couple of seconds left, and then all I'm going to do is try my best to farm a couple more NPCs for those extra credits, and then secure the laptop. So we're coming to the end of securing the laptop. Now, this is an important point. You need to make sure you keep one NPC alive after you've secured the laptop. And then all you're going to do is you're going to run around and just collect all the credits that you've missed.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, bling, bling, what's the chatter? You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter. Ching, ching, bling, bling, patent pockets. You take the dollar, dollar, can a damn soul stop it?
So now that we've collected all the credits on the floor, we're going to head over to our first gate, which is the delivery dock. So you want to open this up. Then the next wave is going to be the boss wave. So we're going to fight the boss upstairs, up the ladder. So we're going to kill this last NPC and make our way up the ladder. Now when you get into this corridor, you want to put your flame turret on that ledge. That'll just help you with a bit of crowd control. And I don't know why, but for some reason I put my box down and it disappears, but not to worry. And this is where we're going to fight the boss. It's a great spot because you know nothing can come behind you. And as in my last video, what you want to try and do is just hit the boss. The turret will do some damage, but just hit the boss, get his armour off him, and then leave him alone and farm the rest of the NPCs for as many credits as you can. Now, as you can see, this is the reason we're going to put the flame turret on the ledge, because you can see the boss pushing, but the turret just keeps him back and make sure he doesn't do any damage to us. Now, I don't really get very lucky on this wave. I could have farmed a lot more credits. The majority of the time you do get the axe guys who rush at you, and they're a lot easier to farm the credits on. But I get the shotgunners and, well, the engineers, and they focus your turret. They can sometimes take it down, but as you know, we've got talented on both guns, so it's not a problem. The turret is back, you know, like before it's destroyed. So all we're going to keep doing is keep trying to get as many credits as we can and make sure we try not to kill the boss. So we're coming to the end of the boss wave. You want to just, you know, keep strafing, moving around. You know, the boss did come down my way, but I just ran up the other end. I did try and get a few more kills, but I just couldn't. Now, all we want to do now is just kill the remaining enemies. There's no need to keep one alive, because all the credits are all in one position on this corridor. so you won't have to run around collecting them. But yeah, kill this last enemy and we'll go and get the credits on the floor. Now we'll move on to wave 6,
Hostiles inbound
which
in
is
20
drones.
seconds.
And as in my last video, I like to just sit at the top of the ladder behind this barrier,
Hostiles inbound in 10 seconds.
set my turret up, and this is basically where you'll stay for this wave. I just find it a little bit easier to
Next
control
wave of
the
hostiles is
drones.
beginning.
You might get shocked once or twice, but nothing really to worry about, especially when you're in your box. But yeah, we'll push on and we'll get through the drone wave. So as we just come to the end of the drone round, I'm just using the same process again, keeping one NPC alive because the credits are scattered everywhere, so it's just making it easier to pick them all up. And then the next wave is going to be wave 7. Now there's a very important point I want to make at the start of wave 7. I don't actually do it in this video, but it is recommended that why wave 7 is starting, open up the storage door. It's the door which we were on the corridor fighting the boss. Just up this ladder, it's the door on the right. So around about this time now, I'd recommend
20
opening
seconds until
that
next
door,
wave.
and you'll see why after the wave.
Next wave in 10 seconds. Ship package last online.
Now as we push through wave 7, you can see I'm using the exact same process as when we done the boss wave. I'm keeping the turret on the ledge and the box round the corner so the NPCs can't shoot it. And obviously this isn't a farming round, you just take your time, take it slow and keep killing the NPCs. Then when we've killed all the NPCs, we're gonna pick up all the credits and I'm gonna go and open the door just around the corner, the one I did recommend that you should open at the start of wave 7. So we're at the end of wave 7, pick the credits up, and now I am opening this door, and this is the one I did recommend to open.
20 seconds
If you
until
are a
next
newer
wave.
player and you're struggling for time, open that at the start of wave 7. But we're going to make our way in and then come down
Next wave of
to
hostiles in
the
10
next
seconds.
storage door, which has got the classified and exotic box in. Load in the credits and drop your turret
You
on the
must
floor
scan the target
in your
location.
box. As you can see, we loaded our first batch of credits into the box, and now just forget about the actual laptop, because for this run specifically, all we need to do is just farm a couple of the Russian shotgunners and enemies, and make sure your turret is placed outside. That will create a bit of crowd control, and we want to just get just enough credits to open the box for the second time. Now just remember what I said earlier, on the boss wave, wave 5, you might get the axemen, whereas I got the engineers and they were a bit awkward to farm the credits. If you do get the axemen, you'll possibly have enough credits to open the box twice without farming the beginning of wave 8 like I'm doing now. But we're going to put the remaining credits in, and please don't do what I've done. Make sure you leave space in your backpack to pick up all the items. No, that was a mistake I done. But all we want to do now is, for the most efficient way, we want to get killed, wipe, and rinse and repeat.
10 seconds until next wave of hostiles.
Now I need to start wrapping this video up because it is mega long, and I do apologise for that, but I don't want to cut any corners for the newer players. I really want to keep it as detailed as I can. But this is just the clip that I said I'd provide from the intro, you know, showing that if you want to go past wave 8, it does really shine in the contaminated wave. You know, as you can see, it's just as good as, if you stay in the box, it's just as good as Nomad to keep you alive through the contaminated waves. And all I do is I just keep dipping in and out just to kill the NPCs that are rushing at me.
Seconds until next wave.
So this is just coming to the end of the contaminated wave, and as you can see, I've only just got enough credits for
Enemy is inbound on your location.
2 chances at the box at wave 10. That's because with this run I didn't actually farm many credits. I just wanted to see whether this build was sustainable through the contaminated wave for you guys, just in case you do, you know, fancy a challenge and seeing if you can get past that wave. So guys and girls, we have finally come to the end of another long video, and I do want to apologise for the length of it. Now, you know, I won't be making many videos this long in the future, but I did make a promise to newer players that I would make a farming resistance guide for them. And on this channel we don't like to cut corners, we like to be as real as possible and give you as much detail as we can. But I am expecting that the majority will have a slightly better build than what I use, although feel free to use this build. It has opened my eyes on how good the gold build actually is, and you can take away, even if you're using green sets or exotic sets or classified sets, please take the tips away from this video on what skills I use, what abilities I use, what weapons I use, and the methods that I use through it, because I think that will help you a lot. Now that's it, that's the end of the video, and I really hope it did help some people out there, and if it did, don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment for me to respond to, and most of all, please subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.